So, one of my earliest teenage obsessions was skincare. Instead of looking at toys in the kids section at the store, I was looking at moisturizers in the skincare section. As I grew up and navigated my sexuality, I saw that most of the beauty industry was aimed at feminine women, sometimes at masculine men, but everyone else was left out. It wasn't for someone like me. With Surf Labs, I wanted to create a fun skincare experience for everyone. I'm pretty sure your skin doesn't care how mask or femme you are or who you love, but I'm absolutely sure you need to take care of it. Check us out at surflabs.co, SERVELABS.co, and you can also find us on Instagram and Twitter at surflabs. Hello everyone, welcome to the Gay Cruise and Travel Podcast with me, just Joey T. I have a friend that makes fun of the way I say just Joey T. I feel like when I fade out the intro music, I have to talk slower to like fade my voice out. For some weird reason, I think I do it without even noticing it until my friend pointed out, the way you draw out your username, I don't understand why you're doing that. And I never thought about it until he pointed it out. Anyways, on today's podcast, we're going to have some useful consumer advice for the cruises. And it's actually something even I wasn't fully aware of until I went on the Atlantis Allure cruise just about a month ago. And basically, I had this awesome perk with Royal Caribbean that I didn't even fully realize. And because of that, I was getting like free drinks all day, every day for like the whole cruise. But before I jump into the details of that, I just want to say thank you for everybody that, for all the comments on the Allure recap video, which was a couple of weeks ago, 2 weeks ago that I did that. For all the people that just said thank you and your comments about running into me and all of that. It's very, very sweet. I'm not super great at doing comments. I think I learned quite a few years ago to kind of sort of ignore the comment sections, all comment sections on the internet, because it can get like real ugly real fast, as all of you know, sometimes in the comments on various things. So several years ago, many years ago, I learned to basically ignore comments, not even read comments. But now when YouTube kind of sort of like pops up or summarizes some of the comments for me on my more recent YouTube videos, I see there's a lot of you that's like being so nice and saying thank you on the comments for some of them. So I'm gonna try to like get myself out of that mindset of like just never read comments to like have a healthy way of just reading the positive and constructive and not the hateful comments on my social media, on my YouTube. Bear with me. I feel like there's going to be some wires I have to like uncross in my head because I've just like built up this like, okay, just don't read the comments. And speaking of that, I've got a reel that I created from my door-to-core tutorial that I posted on my YouTube channel back in January. I did like an edit of it as a reel to go onto my Instagram. Somehow that took off, and I don't know, it's got like 150,000 views or something, which for me is like a lot. Most of my stuff on Instagram gets like 5 views from like 5 people. And now obviously it got around a little bit, and then got all these comments in here. Someone commented that, oh, typical gay Asian, he's got muscles and he wears a tank top. I don't know if that was like a gay Asian thing. And I feel like I know my fair share of gay Asians, and I interact with my fair share of gay Asians, not just from the US, but from various parts of the world. You know, I travel to Asia quite often. So, of course, if you happen to be watching the video version of this podcast, which is available on my YouTube channel, Just Joey T, I am showing my muscles, and I'm wearing a tank top because I don't care what the haters think. I look hot in this tank top. It's one of my favorite tank tops, actually. It's a pink JJ Malibu tank top. Not sponsored, but hey, JJ Malibu, message me again. I want more free stuff. Anyways, I'm going to probably do an episode about some of the comments that reel on Instagram has gotten, because there are quite a few comments there. If you'd like to see that, comment down below on YouTube and let me know if you think I should I should do a video on that one. All right, back to the topic. As promised, some useful consumer advice for all of you that will be going on a cruise. We got one booked. And this is not just an Atlantis cruise. This is any cruise you're taking with Atlantis or otherwise. And this will also apply if you had gone on a cruise, any cruise recently, okay? So I got all these free drinks when I was on the Allure cruise of Atlantis about a month ago. And basically what happened was I had sailed with Royal Caribbean, all with Atlantis, by the way. The only cruises I've done are Atlantis cruises so far. And I've been on Royal Caribbean cruises for so long that kind of sort of unbeknownst to me, I wasn't thinking about it every time I go on a cruise, but I was actually getting points with Royal Caribbean's frequent sailor program. They call it the Crown and Anchor Society. I've been getting points in that program that I signed up for like years ago and I didn't even really remember. And I've gone on so many Royal Caribbean cruises that I eventually got status with Royal Caribbean. And for the last few Royal Caribbean cruises, I didn't even really bother checking the status stuff. Wasn't even really thinking about the program. It wasn't front of mind. I wasn't even, because you don't get any emails that, hey, you just got X number of points by taking this sailing, or you don't get reminder emails that, hey, you're still part of this like frequent sailor program or whatever. But I was talking to a friend on like the first day of the cruise after we boarded, and he was like, you should check what status you have because you might be able to get some free drinks. We were talking about drink tickets and drinks like that. And he has a certain level of status that gave him like a certain number of free drinks every single day. And I was like, that sounds a little too good to be true. So let me check what mine is. And I happen to have diamond status with Royal Caribbean's program, which again is called Crown and Anchor Society. And I looked it up, and as a diamond status member, I get 4 free drinks every day for drinks up to $14 in value. So I talked about the drink tickets that were available on that Allure cruise, and 2 drink tickets would equal $14 in drinks. I basically had 4 free $14 drinks every single day, and I didn't even know it until this friend said, you should check your status because like maybe you have the same thing that I have. And it turns out that I did. So that was like a really, really nice surprise. So in addition to the drink tickets that every passenger got as part of the fare on that particular Atlantis Allure cruise, on top of that, I also had 4 additional free drinks every single day, which was like super, super awesome. So for a lot of you that have taken quite a few sailings with any cruise line, not just Royal Caribbean. So this is, a particular Royal Caribbean cruise for certain status levels in their particular program. But pretty much every cruise line have this type of frequent sailor program where the more cruises you take with them, the more perks you get. The perks vary according to the cruise line, and all the cruise lines have different status levels as well. Kind of sort of like airlines, frequent flyer programs have been around forever. The more you fly with a particular airline, the more perks you get with them. So the concept is basically the same. But it's also more than just free drinks. For me personally, the free drinks was probably like the best and most noteworthy perk of getting that diamond status. But I looked, and diamond status is like quite a few points, and I think I've been on like over a dozen cruises with Royal Caribbean. But I also looked, so for those of you who are newer to cruising, maybe you've only done one cruise with Royal Caribbean before. Maybe the Atlantis Lure cruise that just happened in February, that was your very first cruise with Royal Caribbean, or maybe it's your first cruise ever, okay? So I took a look. Even if you just done that one cruise, which should have given you at least 7 points, if you are registered with that Crown and Anchor Society program, after you've had 3 points, so after you've had one sailing, you still get stuff like, I'm just reading here, half off a Johnny Rockets milkshake. Johnny Rockets is the diner that they have on some of the Royal Caribbean ships. You can get a 10% discount on a glass of wine, beer, or soda, And you can also get 25% off a single coffee beverage, not including at the Starbucks if that ship has a Starbucks. So even though you've only taken one sailing, as long as you're registered in the program, you're still already starting to get perks. Other perks, just an example, for some of the tiers that you can get is a discount on internet packages you buy on board. You can get some free days for internet at one of the higher tiers. You can get discounts on laundry service if you need to like do laundry in the middle of sailing, on photos, on spa services. So there's other perks as well. Most of you probably have a facial cleanser and moisturizer already, so I want to tell you about Shield and Slay DP, which is an anti-pollution hydration spray I formulated specifically for my skincare line, Serve Labs. This is actually a product I've been looking for years now and haven't been able to find on the market, which is something that was a hydration spray but also has anti-pollution, antioxidant properties for your skin. Shield and Slay DP is the ultimate double protection defense for your skin, teaming up antioxidants, probiotics, along with hydrating ingredients to fend up environmental stressors and aggressors. You can use it as part of your daily skincare routine, but I've also designed it so you can use it while you're out and about, on an airplane, or whenever your skin feels dry, dull, or a bit worse for wear. All you have to do is spray it on. Check out Shield and Slay DP along with the rest of the Serve Labs skincare lineup at servelabs.co, servelabs.co, and you can also find us on Instagram and Twitter at ServeLabs. Even if you just did one sailing, it's worth registering for the program and then just start accruing it. If now you're thinking, well, I've done like one cruise or two cruises, and I don't know if I'm ever gonna like go another cruise, or I don't plan on going cruises very much, it's still really worth it to just register now anyways, and any cruises that you have taken, just try your best to credit it, because the cruises that are credited to the frequent sailor programs, they are for life. So whereas with airlines, for example, airlines, they only give you status based on the number of flights you've taken, usually within one calendar year. And every calendar year, you have to renew and re-up your status, okay? So basically it's only for a year. With the cruise lines, you don't have that per year limitation. So a cruise you took 20 years ago, for example, let's say theoretically, that still counts towards status that you're building today. So even if you only take one cruise, like every other year, you take a cruise, okay? Over 10 or 15 or whatever years, that's like 6 or 8 cruises or whatever, those don't expire. Those credits from those cruises don't expire every year. The lifetime credits within those frequent sailor programs. And eventually it might be hard to imagine, 10 or 15 years from now, but I've been cruising for 10 years now, and look at me, I'm getting all these free perks. So it's just worth it to make sure you're registered in whatever frequent sailor program on whatever cruise line you cruise on, and each cruise line has their own programs. You might need to do it, for a number of different cruise lines, just to start collecting those credits for the cruises you have been on. And you pay a lot of money to go on those cruises. So if like 5 or 10 cruises later, you get some free perks out of it, I mean, like, you honestly really deserve it, because again, the cruises are not that cheap. So from a Atlantis specific point of view, Atlantis usually only charters ships from a small number of the cruise lines. So Royal Caribbean, I just mentioned. Sometimes they also sail with NCL, Norwegian Cruise Lines, and their program is called Latitudes Rewards. And Atlantis nowadays does a lot of cruises on Virgin Voyages, and their program is called Sailing Club. So there you go. Different programs, again, have different perks and different tiers, and there's different ways to sign up. For the Royal Caribbean Crown Anchor Society that I've been talking about, you have to manually sign up for that program. You just do it on the Royal Caribbean website, for example. And if, let's say you went on the Allure cruise a month ago and you were not signed up for that Crown Anchor program at that point, you can still sign up now, then contact Royal Caribbean and you can have them credit your previous sailings. On the fine print, it says they'll only credit sailings from your previous 12 months. But if you took a Royal Caribbean sailing like over a year ago, It doesn't hurt to ask because you have to contact them anyways to get the previous sailings credited if they're not already credited to your whatever Crown and Anchor Society account that you create now or that you already have. Virgin Voyages, as in another example, you don't have to manually register for their sailing club membership. They kind of keep track of it for you automatically. And once you've been on like 3 or 4 or 5 sailings with them, the perks automatically kick in. As far as I can tell, according to the website anyways, I've only done one Virgin Voyages sailing, so I don't have any of the perks yet. So it really depends on whichever cruise line you're on. But it's just like getting free perks for not doing anything extra, just for taking cruises that you probably would have booked anyways. You were going to go on these cruises, might as well just get them credited to whatever program, frequent sailor program that particular cruise line has, so that eventually, once you've gone on like 1 or 3 or 5 or however many, you start getting some of these perks, which is like a really, really nice thing, as I found out very recently on the Allure cruise with Royal Caribbean. Now, Atlantis themselves do not have a frequent sailor program. All of these programs are operated by the cruise lines themselves. However, in my experience, the cruise lines do give points on charter sailings, and the Atlantis sailings are chartered. And for the charter sailings, the vast majority of the perks do apply. However, the fine print is sometimes some of the perks that you're supposed to get on a regular sailing that's not chartered, sometimes for like obvious or logistical reasons, some of those perks, like you can't get them, but they're kind of sort of like few and far in between. Most of the perks that I feel like most Atlantis people or you listeners might be interested in, at least from like the Royal Caribbean, for the Royal Caribbean sailings anyways, I'm looking at the perks. It's like a very long list. Some of these are like very like nitty gritty things. The vast majority of them do apply. So yeah, that's the useful consumer information, consumer advice I have for you today. If you have any questions about any of the programs, feel free to comment down below so I can address those for you. But yeah, it was just so, here's one extra kind of sort of bonus tip, which is like a little bit niche. Obviously, a lot of people drink alcohol, beer, wine, hard liquor, mixed drinks, whatever. For me though, I'm not like a heavy drinker because I'm like a lightweight. I have an espresso machine that's in my kitchen because I make lattes. I love drinking lattes. Obviously, I can't make my own lattes when I'm on a cruise ship. I have to buy them. So a lot of the fine print with these 4 free drinks that I get when I'm on a Royal Caribbean cruise because I have that status, and also with the drink tickets, is you cannot use them at Starbucks. Starbucks is excluded. So on a lot of the Royal Caribbean ships, there's a physical Starbucks that you can go to get a Starbucks drink. What I discovered a little late to it, some of you might already know this for ages now, but I just discovered on this Allure cruise a month ago that a lot of the other cafes on board the ship, they are not Starbucks branded. So like this is the Cafe Promenade, the Park Cafe, and also the Fatality Spa. At the spa and gym, there's like a smoothie bar at the entrance. This is on the Allure of the Seas. All those places serve Starbucks drinks. They're not Starbucks branded cafes, but they serve Starbucks drinks, and the drink tickets and also this like 4 free drinks a day perk that I have, it all works to get coffee at those cafes. So, and it was like the exact same coffee basically. But when I went up to Cafe Promenade or like the Park Cafe, even their coffee menu says we serve Starbucks coffee. And the cup I got had a Starbucks logo on the cup, on the paper cup. So I was like, okay, this is like a pretty glaring loophole for people that want to get a Starbucks type drink. There's some like specialty Starbucks drinks, but Starbucks themselves, yeah, they do like lattes and mochas and cappuccinos. Those kind of more basic specialty coffee drinks. You know, most cafes that have an espresso machine, they can make those, but it's just like coffee and milk and some syrup, right? But if you want like a very Starbucks specific drink, because you know when you go to Starbucks, they have like certain drinks that are like seasonal drinks, and it's not just like a regular latte or cappuccino mocha. They've got some sort of like weird Starbucks cooler or whatever, or some sort of like cold brew caramel whipped cream strawberry cheesecake whatever type. One of those like it's like a very Starbucks specific menu item. It's not just a latte. Those things obviously you would only find at like the actual Starbucks branded cafe that's on the ship. Yeah, but I just wanted a latte. I just wanted a latte with soy milk or almond milk. And the other cafes that are on the ship had those, and I was able to use the drink tickets for that. And I was also able to use one of my 4 free drinks that came with my status. Yeah, so for those of you who like your latte or mocha or cappuccino or whatever coffee fix, and you're seeing all this fine print for all this stuff that's like, oh, you can't use this voucher or drink ticket at the Starbucks and you're bummed, don't be bummed, because all the other places on the ship that serve espresso-based drinks, they can just make you a latte, and they taste exactly the same as what the Starbucks where the vouchers don't work. So that's an extra bonus tip for you coffee lovers out there like myself. And I only just discovered that on this Allure sailing that I went on. Even though I've been on so many cruises, I'm still learning. I'm probably learning a new thing about every cruise every time I go. Yeah, so this perk and also the coffee thing is something brand new that I learned, and I wanted to share that with all of you. All right, that is it for this week's episode of the Gay Cruise and Travel Podcast. Please follow me on Spotify or your podcast app of choice, or on YouTube. Again, I would love to hear what gay cruise or gay travel related topics you would love for me to talk about. So feel free to hit the comment section on YouTube, and who knows, maybe I'll pick a topic and do a future episode all about that. But until next time, bye y'all.